Roy and I, we're good friends, and we've tried to schedule early on because we've always tried to schedule. We just couldn't find the proper dates to work out for us. They do theirs a little more a year in advance or a little further out than us. I always said in 2014 when we beat NC State, I thought that was a historical win for our program. It was the ultimate blessing, but it was also the ultimate curse because it's been difficult to get games, and such is life. That says a lot about your program and how it's evolved throughout the years. But it sucks flying to the Midwest and even the West Coast and just taking games and putting our team in uncomfortable situations. But they understand it's what it is when you come to North Carolina Central. Nothing is going to be easy.
Coach Williams said that he hadn't thought about it before, but he might now, potentially trying to take his team on the road, maybe into your house. Just give me a sense for what it might mean to you if an ACC team went to North Carolina Central.
It would mean the world to us. Anytime we can get a home game, we're happy, whether it's an ACC or CCA school. If we can just get a home game out of it, we're happy. Coach, you guys got to understand that Coach has been phenomenal. Like he's been phenomenal to me. I come from middle school and then high school, right? So my pathway to, the Division I coaching route, it hasn't been, the typical route. It's kind of been abnormal, and he's always welcomed me open arms. And it's always, honestly, I feel like I'm a part of the North Carolina program. Because my cousin played here, Donald Williams, in 1993, and my friends Jerry and Rashid and Vince and Jeff McGinnis, and the list goes on. My son's godfather is Raymond Felton, and my daughter's godfather is David Noel. So he's always had a healthy respect, and with that said, he's always tried to look out for me and do whatever he possibly could. This helped us financially with our program, right? It was a great game, but he kind of did it to help us financially as well. So it was kind of like the best of both worlds for us. So even with the racial injustice and the inequalities that was happening, he and I had some healthy dialogue, this summer when all of the George Floyd and the racial dynamics was going on. And I said some things publicly. And he and I had a great conversation, and the one thing he told me was, I appreciate you saying that because it made us all take a inside look at ourselves. And so anything to help our program, he's always done it. I wish he would have helped us by letting us win today, but such is life.
Coach Jonathan Duran, NCCU Sports Network.
Hey, John.
Hey, Coach. First and foremost, great game today. You talked about how it's been hard getting everybody on the floor. You're able to get just about everybody on the floor today, including Justin Whatley. He comes in with 13 points. How big was it to be able to get him on the court today?
It was huge. He just got cleared yesterday. So, again, he hasn't practiced. He don't know what we're doing. But he's a returner from last year. So, I think just been out for 30 days, right? I haven't seen him. I had to reintroduce myself to him and say, hey, I'm Coach Moton. What's your name? And we had a little joke, and I said, listen, go out here and play, and the moment you get tired, because I want to take into consideration your conditioning, just let me know. And he's such a competitor. I thought he got tired in the second half, but he just didn't let me know. And but I'm looking at the stat sheet. I thought he filled in nicely, and the stat sheet is no indicator of how indicative he is to our success because he's so smart, and we can play through him in the post, right? We can allow him to catch the ball at the pinch post and relieve some of the pressure off the guards. And he's a tough matchup because he can shoot the ball in, drive the ball in, post up as well. So we're happy to have him back.
LeVelle, given that today you got to play your first game, 3 weeks into the season, would you have preferred to see the season start, say, after the holidays in January, to give everybody a chance to figure out what they've got, and hopefully the pandemic has settled down with the vaccine on the horizon and just more time?
Yeah, I got mixed emotions about it. Honestly, Kip, one day I'm on one side of the coin, the next day I'm on the other. I think everyone is saying, let's wait to 2021 right now, because it still feels like we're in the middle Like, it still feels like we're at the inception of this pandemic. It don't feel like we gotten it under control. If anything, it feels like it's gotten worse. I thought initially when the powers that be planted in March, they assumed that, okay, by 7 or 8 months, we should be here. Well, this thing is spiking all over the country, and they're saying it's going to spike even more after the holidays. And, with that said, I just think, for our young men, this environment is one of the safest environments ever, because we're testing, if not every day, every 2 to 3 days, and you're getting those results back. I used the analogy to someone. I said, listen, if the average person walk into Starbucks, studies say that, or statistics say, if it's 15 people in there, at least 3 or 4 of these people have COVID. But you go in, you get your coffee, and you leave, and you never know, right? Because they're not tested. And so you don't know who's tracing, and you'll know how to track, et cetera, et cetera. At least on our campus, we get an opportunity to keep them safe. It's almost like a bubble within itself now that all the students are going home for the break, and they're the only ones here. And now they can concentrate on basketball. But on the other side of the coin, I want them to go home so they can experience, the love and respect for their families, because the truth of the matter is, what we're asking these student athletes to do across the country, we're not willing to do ourselves. Like, quarantine, people think quarantine is just like, chilling out for 14 days. Nah, quarantine is like really being by yourself for 14 days. And that just hits different to these kids. It's unhumane to not have human interaction. It kind of defies the laws of nature. That's who we are. People make the world go round. And so to ask someone, when you go through COVID, to stay isolated for 14 days, and we've been through that twice, and our kids were actually going stir crazy. I was going stir crazy. So it was, it's crazy. So I hope we get it under control, Kip. That's kind of a long-winded answer to say, I think we're going to shut it down right now, because I do think our kids need a break, but they love basketball. And before I took this game, I asked them, look, I don't care if we play or not. I'll play the Lakers tomorrow if you want to. I don't care. But it's not about me, because when I leave here, I go home to my family. They don't have that luxury of doing so, and I certainly wanted to respect that. So as long as they want to play, I'm all for it. And but in hindsight, I do think we probably should have waited to 2021.
This has been an exclusive presentation of the NCCU Sports Network.